Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Brother Sister Show, a family-owned and operated podcast where two siblings keep in touch by talking about movies. This week, we're talking about Anthony's amazing pick, Megamind. But before we get into that, howdy, Anthony. How are you? You look awake.
I'm doing good.
Which is good.
I got a lot of sleep. It's the end of the semester, so I have more time to play games. So that's awesome. I've also been getting more sleep, so that's good. Nothing else is new, I don't think. I just took a test, so one class is done. I think I have 2 classes done, actually. I just have like 3 more to go. That's it. I watched Spider-Man Far From Home last night.
Which one's that one? With Jake Gyllenhaal?
With Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah. It's a good one.
I don't know if I probably have told this story on the podcast, but when I went to go see that movie, I took a day off. Everything of mine comes into like a story, but I took a day off so that I could change the title on my car. And so I finished early and I was like, oh, I'm going to treat myself. And so I went to the movies. Oh, God, what a dream. I wish I could go to the movies right now. But I went to the movies and I saw that because it was the only thing that was like worth kind of seeing. I didn't really like it. I liked the ending a lot. I didn't really like it in general. I thought it was kind of boring, like really formulaic. I went outside and my car's back tire was completely flat.
Nice.
So I had to get it fixed.
That's getting your flat kind of movie. It's like, it's whatever.
I was so annoyed because like if it was a good movie, I would have been like, whatever, I'm having a good day. But I didn't really like it that much. So I was like, fuck, God damn it. I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again. But that experience is tainted. But where did you watch it?
We got the Blu-ray. We got
okay.
Kaylee really likes those 2 movies together, and we got because Target's having a bunch of Black Friday deals before Black Friday.
Oh yeah, I forget about that.
And it's like a 2-in-1. Blu-ray was for like $9, so not too bad. And then this morning, while I was doing work, we watched Black Christmas, which is on HBO, I think. Yeah.
What did you think? I watched it too, and I don't know if I liked it.
I think Kayla and I saw it in theaters.
What?
I can't remember.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, I think we saw it in theaters before COVID happened, and it's pretty dumb. Like I hate the antagonists and like their motive and everything about them.
Yeah, I really love the way it was shot.
So
I love how it looks. There's one scare in it that actually did scare me. The one where whenever, spoiler alert, but like this movie's been out for a while. Like skip like maybe 30 seconds. But when one of the killers, like one of the girls is like walking through trying to find her cat. And she like walks one way and then the guy like pops out like all of a sudden and the camera zooms in really quick. That is a shot that I've seen, and I think it's The Exorcist 2. It's like almost the same exact thing, but it's always very effective. And I don't know why people don't use it more. But yeah, if you look at the old one, so it's a remake, I think, but this one is totally different than the other ones. The other ones are kind of like, is it like maybe Friday the 13th or like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where it's one killer and he has like mommy issues basically, I think, or family issues.
I think it's I think that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And it's a little bit, there was one I think in like 2007 and then one in like the 70s or something.
Yeah. I didn't really like it, but that's the only things I've really watched. Just playing games. Oh, I've been streaming. I streamed like 3 or 4 hours yesterday.
Live from your dungeon? Like, why is it so dark in your room?
From my dungeon. I don't like the lights.
I don't either.
I like working in the dark. I don't know why.
I do too.
I hates it. But during the day we have like the window open and everything, but nighttime it's just.
Do you like it complete dark or do you like a lamp?
I like complete dark. I can work with the lamp.
No wonder you're so pale.
But I prefer Yeah, it's probably. But I was talking to myself for those 3 hours. It's funny because I was like, because Kayla was working while I was streaming, and then I finished, and I was like, well, that was fun. Just kind of just talking to myself. And she was like, oh, I thought you had someone there with you. I thought you were talking to someone. It's just me.
I mean, it's good practice. And I think, I don't know if I sent you the TikTok where the guy said, like, you should be talking even if there's nobody there, which is a good tip.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. And I didn't see how many people were watching. I mean, I get an email after to see how many people are watching, and it was just like one person. So that's fine.
You have a number one fan. It wasn't me this time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I tune in, but it wasn't me.
Well, no one was chatting, so whoever it was just
lurking,
stalking, lurking. But what's up with you?
I just rearranged my entire room, and it's a lot better. It's one that it's an arrangement that was prompted by two things. One, when I work, I'm kind of like y'all, where during like the night, I don't like the fan light. I hate it because it's way too bright. I just don't like any bright lights. So I just use like lamps around my apartment. And during the day, I like to have my window open, and my desk was in a way like in my room to where I was facing, like my window would be open or my blinds would be up and my back would be facing the window. And it freaked me out, especially because like one of my comfort things while I'm working is I like to watch scary movies. And so I was like, yeah, I can't do this. So that was one of the things that made me want to move it to a different, like basically the corner of the room. But also my bed was up against the wall, or it's like up against the corner on two of the sides. And it was so hard to make my bed. And I usually don't like making my bed. Like I've never really done it. Our parents were not people that like made us do that. So I just like never had done it before, but Sebastian does. And he like always makes his bed. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try every day to do it. And I just found that making my bed with the bed in the corner is so much harder. So yeah. So I did that. I like the room now. It feels just so much better. For what I watched, I also haven't really watched much. I don't know if I talked about this before, but because you mentioned buying a Blu-ray, the last Blu-ray I bought was Capone. I feel like I talked about this, but it was so bad. Such a bad movie. Tom Hardy, I mean, I'll watch anything that man does, but like this was painful. But yeah, I only watched Megamind. And a lot of YouTube videos. And I did also take advantage of the Black Friday deals at Target by buying a blender. And I have never felt so old. I think I'm starting to shift into like an older adult. Not older, but like more of an adult. Because I was so excited to get this blender. Like, just ask Sebastian, I could not stop talking about it. Because now I can make smoothies. And smoothies are so fucking good. Do y'all have a blender?
No, we don't. During the summer, when I lived with mom and dad, I would make smoothies. And
at Target, they're $20.
Might have to cop. If you do the H-E-B, just like blend, it's like pineapple, peach, strawberries, grapes, and then you put orange juice and make it's beautiful.
I'm gonna try that. But I want to try also frosted coffee, like the one at Chick-fil-A. But the one thing I've been like wanting to do, the only thing I bought frozen fruit because I know I think mom may have told me that you need to use frozen fruit. Maybe not. I don't know. I read it somewhere. And I'm really trying to recreate. My whole point of this is to recreate the Costco berry smoothie. And that is a staple of our family. And I'm going to go on a little rant. And this is basically just for me, you, and dad. But they changed it. The last time I went, they changed it. And it's more thick. And I don't know. It tastes disgusting. And the consistency is not right. The taste is not right. And honestly, that berry smoothie was the only thing getting me through life, truly. It was the perfect smoothie. And so I'm trying to recreate it. Right now it's almost there. I need to get it a little bit more sweet, but I don't think I put sugar in it. So I think I'm going to get honey maybe. I don't know, but I need to know the secret. I know it's mixed berries, so I got a mixed berries thing. But if anybody knows how to make that specific smoothie, please let me know because I need
It's
it.
Before 2012.
No, I want to say later than that. Maybe Dad would know better, but I'm expecting a text right now as he's listening to it because I need to know what he thinks might be in it. Right now, it's just the mixed berries, ice, and apple juice. Apple juice is pretty good, but maybe I'll try orange juice. But yeah, if anybody has any smoothie recipes that they love, though, people are sending them to me. There's also this thing called a smoothie bowl. I don't know what that is, but what it sounds like is just you put a smoothie in a bowl. Why would I do that?
Smoothie bowl. Maybe
I need to look more into it, but yeah, I'm so excited about this about this blender. I was going to say a smoothie maker, this blender. And people are like, you can make a pesto with it. And I'm like, yeah. But the smoothies, how do I do that?
The smoothie.
But yeah, all right. So there was something else we need to talk about. Something you called me about. The hell were you talking about?
Something I called you about?
Yeah. God damn it. This is us.
I don't remember. Oh, yes.
Well, you said there was something that we needed to discuss.
Kayla had a recommendation and we have to do it. So our producer said that we needed a segment called This Be Us where we talk about This Is Us. So we're entering the segment. This Be Us. This is Be Us.
All right. What did you want to talk about Randall when he was dancing? Is that what you want to talk about?
Bro. And honestly, anything about the episode, I forgot.
I don't remember anything that happened. I know that. So let's go through each sibling. Let's do that.
Malik shadowed Randall.
Yes.
And Malik messed up.
I had to fast forward through that part because I knew it was going to happen and I couldn't watch it. It wasn't that bad though. I thought it was going to be bad.
I thought it was going to be worse.
I thought he was going to
Kayla was like, I can't watch it. She couldn't watch it. Man, I was like, dude, what the heck? And then the fact that Randall was like, I'm not that upset. Like he didn't seem that upset afterwards because he offered Malik an internship. But
well, he seemed upset. And then Malik was like, hey, dude, I got a kid. And honestly, I totally forgot that he had a kid.
Really?
Yeah. It's been so long since the other seasons that I just forget everything. Yeah, so it wasn't that bad. I did I was like, why would they? This is such a weird storyline to have that he was dancing naked and went viral basically. But it did serve a purpose, which shook me. I was like, God, these fucking writers know what they're doing. But so the last time we left off with his story, we found out that his mom was alive. And so this is how, I think it was her boyfriend or something, like somebody figured out that because before he started doing the dance, he was talking about his dad.
William Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as he said that, I was like, they're going to see it. I immediately knew, but I didn't know that he was going to dance like that. But when he's talking after the whole thing went down, mm-hmm. when he's talking to Malik, Malik gives his whole spiel on I'm a dad. I'm just a working dad, and I had to wake up super early to get here 6 minutes late. Randall takes a break, and he's just like, you see, when my dad, Kayla and I were just like, oh my gosh, dude. Oh my god! But that's
like this entire family. Like, I don't know. Yeah. The one thing I do love that the show does is they know that they're pretty self-aware of all the like speeches that these siblings give. Because I love when like Beth and Miguel get to interact and they're like, God damn it, there's so much, right?
Yeah.
And I like that because at least they're self-aware that like, God, not even just Randall. Randall's like the more intense one. He's getting a lot more chill, but I think it's just because of therapy, because I can identify with like, I think past Randall would have like not taken this well, but now that he's had like some therapy, I can see the change in myself. So it's nice to be like, yeah, it is nicer to like recognize like I am upset by this, but like, you know what, it's fine, whatever.
Right.
But yeah, and then like, I felt the same way when, I don't think this was this episode, but the last episode before, when Toby and Kate were getting in a fight and they were like, you know what, we can be better. And I was like, oh my God, nobody fucking fights like that.
Yeah. That's the only thing I really remember.
Something about Kevin, about like him playing football or something. I don't know. Him being sad that he's like attractive or something. Who knows?
Using index cards or... Yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about. Mainly just the rando.
God, that show delivers though. I fucking love that show.
They do. They really do deliver.
Honestly, I don't know how many episodes or how many seasons they've had, but this is the first time where I'm watching a show and I'm like, I never want this to end.
I think they're on their 5th.
And it's, I mean, I think it's held the same quality for me, at least.
Yeah. It's interesting too, because if I look back, it's like the other seasons feel like so long ago.
Yeah.
Like Jack's brother feels like
5 years ago.
That was like, I think last season, but yeah, it felt like forever. It's weird.
I wonder what he's doing. We haven't talked to him. Also, I thought whenever they flash forward and they revealed that Kevin has a fiance and she's pregnant, I thought it was going to be that military girl, but like she's gone now.
Yeah, I thought so too. But
I thought as soon as he got together with Kate's best friend, I was like, oh no. But I kind of like them together.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I did really like is I liked... this show is just so good about talking about things that a lot of shows aren't either. And I don't really have much to say, like commentary on eating disorders, but the one thing I do love is I love that so Kate met her best friend through the like eating, or I think it's like the support group that she was with like a bunch of other fat people. And then her friend was like the skinny one that had an eating disorder. And she talked about what it's like to be pregnant with twins and have an eating disorder. And I thought that was like super interesting and such a a really important perspective that I've never seen on TV. And they're just so good about that. I don't know if it was this time, maybe last time, but
I think it was last episode. Next episode, they're going to talk about abortion. Kate, they like kind of hinted that she had one.
I forgot about that too.
So it should be a good one. Catch us next time on This Be Us.
The supervillain Megamind finally defeats his nemesis, the superhero Metro Man. But without a hero, he loses all purpose and must find new meaning to his life in Megamind. Directed by Tom McGrath, not Mark McGrath, as we just had that conversation. Written by Alan Schoolcraft and Brett Simmons, starring, which the star power in this movie super really surprised me. Starring Will Ferrell, Jonah Hill, and Brad Pitt. To have Brad Pitt as the third build it was pretty amazing. I was very surprised.
I didn't know it was him, but as for how much it made, its estimated budget was about $130 million. Opening weekend, it grossed about $46 million. Not too good. US, it grossed about $148 million, and worldwide, it grossed about $322 million. And little fun fact, despite a worldwide gross of what I just said, this is one of DreamWorks Animation's lowest grossing films.
Which is pretty... I mean, maybe if I need to look at like their history of films, but that's pretty surprising to me.
It is.
At least a lot of people I know have seen it. Like, I'm the only one out of the people I know that has never seen it.
I mean, you didn't see it in the theater.
No. Oh, that's true, yeah.
So. Oh, and I forgot about this. As for how it was received, critics gave it a 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb, a 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 63% on Metacritic. So we can all agree that this movie was robbed. Snubbed.
Feels accurate to me, but whatever. All right. Do you want to start with any like opening thoughts?
I just want to go in and no, I don't have anything.
All right. Well, we start with something very cute, baby Megamind, which started the trend. I know now people are like big into the baby Yoda. There was that baby like Planters Peanut, just a bunch of baby things. And so this one was the first. Well, actually, I think baby Grinch ran so these could walk. Maybe Megamind did a little like jog, and then the rest of them walked. But yeah, he's really cute. And first fun fact. So there's a bunch of fun facts that I sprinkled throughout this. The first one is that Ben Stiller and Robert Downey Jr. were approached for the role of Megamind, but turned it down due to scheduling conflicts. Ben Stiller, however, does appear in the role of Bernard the Curator, not the one that we like know as Megamind, but the one before he like gets copied or whatever.
The real Bernard.
And what do you think as a Megamind super fan, should I say? Stan?
I don't know about super fan, just a fan.
Fan. What do you think about that? I feel like maybe Robert Downey Jr. would be good. I don't know though.
Nah, Will Ferrell's perfect for this role. Just because, like, with the mispronunciation of a lot of things, like Metro City's Metrocity, like Spider. Like, I don't know anyone else who would do it justice.
It felt like I don't know if they wrote it in the movie. I think I have a fun fact about it, but it does feel like something that Will Ferrell just would have done. He would have made the choice to do that.
Yeah.
God, I love him. Yeah, and so basically the beginning is just Megamind's origin story. His planet is destroyed, and him and then Metro Man were sent to Earth as babies. And his rival, who is Metro Man, goes straight into like a fancy home, where he's loved, and then Megamind gets into a prison, and for whatever reason, nobody questions that there's just a blue baby. And whenever he gets older and then he goes to school, when Metro Man is there, well, first of all, nobody questions that a prisoner, like a child prisoner, is going to their school. And then nobody questions when Metro Man is just like floating around and shit and like is showing his powers. So I mean, I'm glad they kind of skipped over that because it feels like it's not that essential of information, but it just felt very weird. Yeah. And another weird...
I think they just...
Go on.
For the sake of them, like, having close ties, like they've been joined at the hip since birth. I think that's the whole reason for that.
Yeah, and I do appreciate, I noted this later where like this beginning is so fast. Like there's so much information that I had to take in, but that's one thing I do appreciate about animated movies is that they can do that without it being silly because it is an animated movie. Yeah. But they just like lay it all out and they just get you straight to what you need to know about them. That is a question I needed to know though, is like, why is everybody acting like this is normal? Especially the baby in a prison. I was like, I'm uncomfortable with this. And another weird fun fact that both Megamind and Metro Man arrived on Earth in the year 1991. I just hate how they're pretty close to my age. And I don't like that.
Interesting.
5 years older than me. And that makes me feel old. But it's okay. All right. So he decides at the school that I'm talking about, that him and Metro Man are going to be rivals, but also he's going to be the villain. He's obviously the villain.
Because he's blue and he has a big head.
Yeah, basically. And then Metro Man is white. He has a white like costume on. He just is this stereotypical hero.
I mean,
a couple things about their appearances. So Metro Man's appearance and costume was based on Elvis Presley, loosely. I think later, like when he becomes Music Man, spoiler alert. And a whole crew of animators was dedicated solely to the movement of capes.
You know, that's crazy. I think about this often where I think about, especially for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, just how many hours.
Oh my God. Yeah.
The team that went into just like the most minute things in the movies that we don't even like recognize or appreciate because it looks so good. It's just so natural to us, especially for animated films.
And honestly, I have this weird stigma towards animated movies. I think maybe now that I'm thinking about it, because they have so much, like what I've said, the one thing I appreciate, but it kind of is a little bit overwhelming for me, is how fast it is. And maybe that's what just like makes me not want to watch it, because I'm like, I gotta like actually pay attention. And I've just seen a lot of animated movies that look gorgeous, but they're like not good.
Right.
But I think one thing I love about doing this podcast is I get to look at the fun facts and like do research and see just how much goes into it, because I don't think I would have actually appreciated that. Because I will say the animation style, while I respect it, it makes me uncomfortable. The way that these people look.
It's like, especially Roxanne Ritchie. She looks like, kind of like Sid from Toy Story.
Not even her, like the most uncomfortable looking, the most uncomfortable looking character to me was Hal as Titan. I hated it.
Oh, especially when he's like,
when he turns into Titan.
Yeah, there's this one specific scene that where it like the way his body is shaped makes me feel weird, and there's like legs. Oh, it's like pretty much towards the end, so we'll talk about it later. But
I also don't like Megamind's face. It just like, I don't know. I think this style is just not for me. And I group these movies. So like it's this one, Monsters vs. Aliens, which we have done on this podcast, B movie, like all of those, just like I was trying to think of the way to describe it, but I think uncomfy is like the best word for it. Yeah, it just makes me a little uncomfy.
It's just like late 2000s. I don't know why that people like this was the art direction for animated movies.
I didn't like it, but you know what? It's fine. I guess
Megamind's chin is so small. It's just so small.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get into it, but a little bit more about Metro Man. So I think his costume is based on Elvis Presley, but Bruce Campbell was actually supposed to be, he was considered for the role of Metro Man before DreamWorks decided to cast an actor with more star power, which I guess people can debate that if that's true. But his face was still partially used as inspiration when designing Metro Man. Do you know who Bruce Campbell is? Yeah,
he's Mysterio in the original Spider-Man. We talked about him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did.
I would have liked him better, I think. Like Brad Pitt has just like as Music Man, I get it, but as Metro Man, I feel like Bruce Campbell would have been a better choice.
And that's why I think his voice is just better. But also like star power. I mean, I guess maybe Brad Pitt has held more relevancy, but like Bruce Campbell to me is like an icon. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I just am overestimating. But I feel like I've always known who he is. Like I didn't have to see a movie of his. I just knew, oh, that's Bruce Campbell. But I don't know.
I feel like that feeling you have towards Bruce Campbell is probably more like people have that more often for Brad Pitt than.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. So Megamind escapes prison. This is a little bit later. And did you know that the warden of that prison who voices him?
J.K. Simmons?
I couldn't place that. And I didn't realize until like the end of it that was him.
Yeah. I mean, we watched it on Prime. I mean, that's what it's on. So like, you know how whenever you pause it, you see the IMDb stuff. So I saw it was him, and I just couldn't get out of my head. But
I need to watch it again because I didn't see it till like the end.
I like the way he escapes, where he uses the watch as like I like that watch and the way that they set it up, like because they use it pretty often throughout the movie, where it's like a disguising. It just scans a person. You can become that person when you watch it or wear that watch.
Yeah, I really liked it too. And it looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
I kind of want one. Maybe I'll look that up. And when he escapes through his invisible car, which is a combination of two famous superhero vehicles, the Batmobile and Wonder Woman's invisible plane. Do we ever see what it looks like without the... We don't get to see, right?
Yeah, we
can
do.
kind of see the outline of it, but...
No, you can definitely see it. It's... I know because there's a couple moments where Minion, Megamind's like Minion.
Honestly, the star of this movie.
Yeah, he like turns it off and on from.
Oh, okay. Oh shit! Sorry.
Yeah, and there's a couple of. It's in his evil lair, so you can see it. But yeah, that's where they go.
All right. So, Megamind, after he escapes, his whole plan is to interrupt a celebration that's going on where Metro Man. I don't know what they're celebrating. I think just him, right?
They're just opening up a museum for him.
So, yeah, that's what it was, the museum. So he interrupts it and he tells Metro Man to leave or he'll kill his girlfriend, who is, was it Roxanne? Because in my notes, I kept saying Rosemary and then I kept having to delete it and put Roxanne.
No, it's Roxanne Ritchie.
Yeah. So that's basically like Lois Lane. And after this, it's kind of like, it is important, so I'll talk about it. But like, so he has like, basically he made a double lair thing. Like he made his lair somewhere else, so that he could trick Metro Man. And let me see. So when he tricks him, and when Metro Man realizes that he's at the wrong place, and that's when Megamind's like, we're going to destroy it. And so he gets like, I think it's like a death ray. It's always called a death ray for some reason. And a fun fact about that explosion, which looked amazing. The explosion itself of the observatory took a team of 7 artists nearly 4 months to create. But honestly, obviously it was worth it, but it looked so good. I read this fun fact before I saw it. And I had a vision for what I thought it would be, but it like totally exceeded all of that. It looked really real. And I was so surprised. My note is, holy shit, he kills him. Yeah.
Out of the explosion, the skeleton comes and it shoots towards them. And you can see that he's dead. And
even Megamind was like...
He's like, oh.
What? And we talked about Minion, but to me... At this point, the funniest thing in this movie was Minion. There was one instant, there were so many things I didn't write down, but there was one that it feels like a tired joke, but I wonder if they did it kind of first, where he was like, get the death ray ready. And then Minion was like, okay. And then it's like loading and he's like, oh, it's loading. And
it's just warming up. And he's like, how is the sun warming up? Because that's where it pulls its power.
Oh shit. I X'd out of my notes. But I did read a fun fact about Minion that made me a little bit emotional. So here we go. It is widely believed that Minion was created by at least one of Megamind's parents in order to have someone to look after Megamind once he was sent off of their home planet. In the movie, Megamind calls Minion a, quote, dim-witted creation of science, and when they argue, Minion claims that Minion's sole purpose in life is to look after Megamind. Which is so nice.
Yeah, that's so nice.
God, I love him. And he's voiced by David Cross, I think is the actor's name.
Tobias, yes.
Perfect voice. And it's so funny to me that after he kills Metro Man, he obviously won, and so he's like celebrating. But he did it. And then I was like, oh, like, is he gonna like rule the world? But no, he like goes into City Hall. Yeah, I was like, you're not going to get the White House? The town. It's just the town?
He didn't. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That was just so funny to me, where I didn't realize, I think what made me laugh so hard, I don't think they intended this, but after when they I think they painted it or something, but they panned down and it said City Hall. And I was like, that's City Hall? You did this for City Hall? You did this to become mayor? Governor at best?
God, he didn't think he was going to actually kill Metro Man.
But I guess if you think about it, that kind of is like, well, what else would you do after that? Like Bane is just going to be like councilman for District 7, you know, like, God, that's so funny to me. And a fun fact about after like his decor after he wins. So after Megamind has taken over the town, not the world, but just the town, his large "No You Can't" posters are a reference to President Barack Obama's 2008. I was about to say 2018. 2008 campaign posters featuring the slogan, "Yes, we can."
That reminds me of Biden's hat now. It says like, "We just did." It's like a response to Trump's like "Make America Great Again."
Oh, yeah. Chef's kiss. Perfect. So after he has all the money in the city, not in the world or the country, but the city, he has all the money and control that he wanted within city limits. He feels like it's not enough. I think he calls it like an existential crisis, you know, like kind of what people are feeling now about their job is like, you like it, but then you get to what you think is success, but you don't feel it, you know?
Yeah, it's like the grass is always greener.
And so my first thing I thought was of a question. So what movie, because I know you like, you know, the superhero movies, comic book movies, what movie would you want to see, or what like villain and superhero would you want to see in this format? So which villain would you want to see win and how that would go?
Oh, that's a good question. Because we could go like someone who's human, right? Who wins and they just like, I don't even know what they do. Like if in The Dark Knight, if Joker won, a lot of people would die, and that would be, I don't know. I don't know if the Joker would even want to do anything after. Probably just be like, yeah, okay, I'm good.
I think maybe that's what this movie is trying to portray, that like Joker, I mean, and Joker kind of says this, doesn't he, in The Dark Knight, where he's like he's nothing without Batman. Like what's the point in being powerful if you have nobody to like have that conflict with that makes life interesting?
Yeah. Yeah, he says like, you complete me or something, or we complete each other. Or we could go like another route where it's just like some world ending threat, like
Thanos.
I don't know why I got this recommended to me, but the Silver Surfer movie, the end of that, it's like
Silver Surfer. Fantastic Four?
Fantastic. Yeah. I watched like the end
but
of
he was
I watched
the
like
star.
I mean, it's named after him.
Is it?
But like, yeah, it's like, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But he's like, Silver Surfer brings Galactus, which is like this world-ending thing that it just eats planets. So like the end of that, if Galactus won, he'd just eat the planet and move on to another one. So that'd be pretty boring. So I don't know. Maybe Monsters vs. Aliens, because that'd be funny. Or Pacific Rim. Because then it'd just be like the kaiju just chilling around like New York or something.
It would be interesting just to see like what it would look like, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess
I kind of like that because in Megamind, like he's just messing around. He like messes around with all the what's it called? We see this later when he cleans up the town a little bit, but he like messes with the Mona Lisa because it's there.
Oh yeah.
He draws a mustache on it, and he draws like a big target on a like brick wall and shoots a like bus into it. So that's pretty cool. But I don't know. I don't think that'd be anything else interesting to do or see anyone do.
It'd probably just be like quarantine. You just stay inside.
Yeah.
All right. So
are we
let's
the
talk.
Villains?
Huh?
So are we the villains then?
If we stay inside?
No. Because like, if a villain wins, that they just stay inside all the time. So are we the villains?
No,
if we
I thought you meant like the people that are just like the people living in the city.
Oh, I see. Corona won.
Exactly. All right. So let's talk about him mispronouncing words. I have a fun fact about it, but I think at this point he says like alo, and then instead of hello, he says like olo, not alo, olo. And then instead of Metro City, he says metrocity. Instead of melancholy, he says melancholy. But Megamind, sorry. What?
There you go.
Megamind has a problem with mispronouncing words. It's unclear whether he does it intentionally or if he simply misread them the first time he'd seen it written. For example, like we said, he pronounces Metro City as metrocity. He pronounces school as shul. He seems to realize he is pronouncing school incorrectly when he is disguised as Bernard and stops himself from calling it shul. He also mispronounces melancholy as melancholy when he was feeling down, implying that he didn't realize he was mispronouncing that particular word. He even said olo instead of hello, which was later corrected by Minion and used by the latter to tighten that he was going to take his Metro Man-like powers away. So I think people are just like, what is the mispronouncing thing? Like, does he only mispronounce certain words? Like, is because he didn't go to school? Like, what is the point of that? Yeah, I just think it's such a funny, like, weird thing. I think it does come back at the end, but it makes me wonder, like, did they have that so that they could just have that one moment?
Probably. It's also pretty funny because, like, I had no idea what he was saying when he said stool or whatever. I was like, what? Like, it took me a while to understand what he was saying. So
the one that made me laugh was Olo. That made me laugh really hard. I don't know why. So after he's already won, like what we were saying, Megamind realizes that he's not happy, and to be happy again, he needs another hero. So he needs to make one because he already killed the one that he had. And so while there's like a whole thing I didn't really talk about, but so all this is happening. Like there's this chase scene that's happening with like Roxanne and Megamind, but also Bernard, who is Megamind. It's like a whole like weird chase scene throughout his little lair. And during this process, during this like fight chase scene, the camera guy, Hal, who is very strange, who is in love with Roxanne, but she does not like him like in the least, but he's very insistent about it. He's shot by the hero serum thing without their knowledge. And so after that, Megamind goes and finds him. Then we have a couple of montages about Megamind, who is now dating Roxanne as Bernard, which is strange. And then Hal is also training for some big fight that Megamind is like orchestrating for them. And so now that Titan is a full-on superhero, he has like a costume. He knows what he's doing. He is weird.
Like weird looking or?
Like just a weird guy. He's not, I mean, weird looking. Like to me, everybody in this movie is weird looking. But he's strange and I don't like him. So basically, Roxanne, I think she's like figuring out everything. She figures out everything at dinner. Then while this is happening, Titan goes, or Hal, whatever, he takes her up to like some skyscraper thing, and then she rejects him and he's really weird about it. He just leaves her there. I don't know. It's a very toxic environment. Like he's just strange. I don't like him.
Yeah.
And then she figures out everything at dinner. And then this whole scene, like this part of the movie is just so strange. Like, I think the only way I can describe it is weird because she's with Bernard, like who she thinks is Bernard, and she decides to kiss him and she accidentally touches his watch. And like, she doesn't realize that it's Megamind until she's already kissing him. I just like the same word, uncomfy. I'm just very uncomfortable with all of this that's happening. And yeah, I just said that I love the theme that this movie is men are trash because he was lying to her the whole time. Hal is like really psychotic with the way he wants to be with her.
He's very stalker.
Won't take no for an answer. Pretty gross. but yes, I mean, I don't know if you want to speak on how eligible of a bachelor you think Megamind is, but I personally wouldn't be with him. Not because he's an alien, but honestly because he has studs on his cape.
Well,
Don't like that choice.
I mean, I kind of agree with Roxanne when she broke up with him.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Because it's like you lied to her, but also your action to show you're just not a good person. But he does redeem himself, so I feel like I probably would have done whatever. Like Megamind turns out to be a good person.
Well, and the one thing that did make me kind of sad was when they were at dinner and he was just like, I think they toasted to like being normal. And that's all he ever wanted was to just be normal. And that's why he liked being Bernard. And I get it. But do it on your own time. Not when you're at dinner with me. All right. So the next day after Roxanne breaks up with Megamind, it's time for the fight. But Hal is a no-show. And it's kind of funny because Megamind makes a huge deal out of it. He has like fireworks, a whole show. And then people are like, kind of like what's going to happen. But then there's like time lapses and nobody's there anymore. Everybody's not interested. And that's just so funny to me that people are just like waiting there and like, okay.
Yeah.
What's happening?
I thought it was so funny that he got so bored that like he just was like trying to find stuff to do. And he was in this big like exo or like mech suit thing. Mm-hmm. And he was just like playing with like a toy car, but it was like a real car. That one
just to pass the time.
Yeah.
So he goes and finds Hal, and Hal is just playing games, probably what you do. Instead of being a superhero, you're just playing your damn Xbox.
Yeah.
And he decides he doesn't want to be a hero. And Megamind finally gets his way. He like is trying to convince him. He's like, dude, you can't be the villain because Hal also like stole a bunch of shit. And he's like, you can't do this. And Megamind finally gets his way after taunting Hal with, he's just like making fun. Oh, he shows him that he was also disguised as his like space dad or something, which was also a character that I didn't like looking at. I didn't like hearing from. I hated everything about him.
Unfathomable.
Oh, God. So gross. So he told him that, and then he told him that he was Bernard. He was the guy that kissed Roxanne. Oh, because Hal saw that happen. He was just floating on by, watching her because he's a fucking stalker. Yeah. And then Titan almost, I did like this moment too, where like they were fighting, finally getting what Megamind wanted. And then Titan like got the best of Megamind. He basically overpowered him and he was like, okay, take me to jail. And he's like, no, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
And Megamind was absolutely shook. He was like, that's not how this works, dude.
That's not the rules. He tries to call timeout. I like that. There's a couple times where he calls timeout.
Yeah. All right. So after this, Megamind kind of has a little, I think he goes and finds Roxanne because he's like, dude, we got to stop this fucking guy. And she's like, I don't want anything to do with you. But they decide to go to Metro Man's lair, which she knows where that is. They go and he's fucking alive. And I'm so upset, but this shook me.
Really? That's so funny.
Kind of. I was like, what the fuck? Why is he alive? Yeah, but one of my favorite parts of this movie is whenever they're like, how are you alive? Like, why are you alive? And he like tells them what happened the day that he supposedly died. And the part where he's like, after, watching you have Roxanne and you're like threatening me with the death ray, I just wasn't feeling it, and I just started, he like has this super speed little run through the town and it's so goddamn funny to me. Okay, so a little fun fact that you probably have to go back. I think this is the one where you have to go back and watch. In the early portion of this movie, when Megamind has Metro Man trapped in the real abandoned observatory, look closely at the scene where the images of Megamind and Metro Man are being projected onto the building. So like where everybody's watching. Just after Megamind orders Minion to fire the death beam, I think it's a death ray, IMDb, not a death beam. there is a single frame where Metroman fades slightly from the observatory screen and reappears faintly behind Megamind on the opposite screen. So this foreshadowed Metroman faking his death, like doing that little detour. So you'll have to go and watch it to see if you can tell when he like kind of blurs and like that's the moment that he left and was doing like some soul searching. But yeah, I really love that part. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, he goes to like the library and reads some like self-help books.
Yeah. He's like at a diner.
Stealing people's food.
Went to a park.
Yeah.
So funny. So he tells him he's not going to help them. He's like, dude, I'm out of the game. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm Music Man now. And he does resemble Elvis with his like cape. And he says he wants to be Music Man because he doesn't have to change the M in his costume, which honestly is very smart. Saves a lot of money.
I liked the where he does sing and Roxanne's like, that was terrible. And Megamind is like obvious talent beside. Like he genuinely thinks he's good.
Coming from the man that says Olo.
Olo.
But yeah, so Megamind, another funny part is when he said Roxanne's like, well, what are we going to do? And he's like, I'm going home. And I thought he meant to his lair, but no, he went back to the prison. And he just like walked in. The guys were like ready to fight him. And he was like, just let me in. But Roxanne persists and she goes to Hal, but this ends up like not working well for her because she gets tied up on top of a skyscraper. And that's when Megamind's like, okay, I got to go help. And so there's one part of that made me laugh a lot. I don't know if I quoted it correctly, but on top of the skyscraper, do you want to say it? You probably say it better.
So Hal, I don't even know how this like comes up, but Hal's like, this isn't real. This there is no Easter Bunny, no Tooth Fairy, no Queen of England or something like that.
It's like what? My favorite thing about comedies is when they say something stupid like that and don't mention it. Like she says what, like, but then they just move on. That made me laugh so hard. That I loved that line so much.
And man, there's a lot of AC/DC in this movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of good music.
But Megamind shows up with a giant head made out of his little brain bots, and I want to say I remember this as a kid being way more epic than what it was. Like I was watching, I was like, oh. I
mean, it was pretty epic. Lame. It was apparently made out of nearly 100,000 individual brain bots.
I mean, it looks really cool, but I just remember the music being like really, really loud and like super epic. But I don't know if it's just me crying. As a kid. Yeah, just.
You're like, whoa, I will never see a movie this cool ever again.
And have I? I think to myself, and I don't even know.
So after this, they're like just having like a whole ass fight. I didn't really document much about it, but they're just going through the city fighting, and then Metro Man comes and saves the day. And another line that I love is when Hal, I think this movie hits his stride at the very end because there's a lot of moments that made me laugh really hard. One of them is when Hal's like, I thought you were dead. And Metro Man says, my death was greatly exaggerated. I want to fake my death so I can just say that line. My death was greatly exaggerated. Oh, amazing. But then I'm so mad. But like, so I was kind of shook the first time we found out Metro Man was dead. But when I found out that this time, when they did like a bunch of shifting I forgot that this happened. So it looked like Megamind got like impaled by something, but it actually turned out to be Minion. And I was like, oh man. Interesting. Where the fuck is Megamind? And that's what Roxanne said too. And they looked at Metro Man, and Megamind was Metro Man. He was wearing the watch, and that shook me. I was so upset that I actually gasped.
I'm so glad that you watched this movie and you had not one but two like moments where you were like, damn, this movie got me. This movie tricked me.
It did. And I liked it. It surprised me.
Yeah. I mean, and they do it in a cool way where they don't say, like, they kind of lead it up to where they just like, when they cut from Roxanne and Minion, they cut to Metro Man with the watch on. Yeah. So you can obviously know that it's not Megamind. Or it's not Metro Man.
Well, and they use it. I think that's a good thing too. So they did a lot of things that they set up a lot of things that were useful in the end, but they used it constantly throughout the movie, which is better than like if say some other like kind of a lesser movie, I guess I'll say, they would have used the watch once at the beginning and then once at the end. And it would have been like, well, that's obvious. I would have kind of known. But because he used it constantly throughout the movie, I was like, oh, fuck, of course. Like, of course you can use it for that. And another thing was the mispronouncing. So Hal, we thought that like he defeated him, but there was kind of a fake out where Hal wasn't, like he was still alive, or still a superhero. And the reason is because he said, he knew it was Megamind. He said, you're the only person that says Metrocity. And so they used the mispronouncing as like a tool, but I just thought it was a funny quirk, but they actually used it at the end. And maybe people knew that they were going to do that, but it was really surprising to me and I really loved it. But yeah, props to this movie for surprising me. And then Megamind saves the day with his little gun that diffuses like the powers that Hal had. He just like, I think it was in the invisible car. That's where they like needed to get it from. And I truly don't know how that worked. I think they said how it was going to work, like him shooting him with that gun, but I wasn't paying attention. So like, I don't know. Okay. And then there's 2 times where I laughed really hard at the end. The first one was when the crowd, so there was this like kind of fake out where the first thing I'll talk about is when Minion like acted like he was dying and then Megamind just threw him in the pond and he was like, I'm okay. 'Cause he's just a fish. But what made me laugh so hard, and I watched it twice, was after they won, everybody in the city was like, they gathered in a circle, like, like you do whenever like a football game is won, you just like rush the people that did it to like congratulate them. And when they did that, Megamind was like, he yelled and told them to get back because he wasn't used to people like surrounding him in a celebratory manner. Like he's used to people trying to like kill him.
Get back, heathens, or something like that.
So hard.
It felt so like real, and like there was like I don't think there was any music. It was just them, like everything cut.
But it also is just like, of course that would happen, and I'm glad that they didn't just be like, yes, everybody loves me now. He was like still traumatized. Mm-hmm. And the last note I have, and like probably the funniest part of this entire movie to me, except for the Queen of England one. I love that one. So at the very beginning, when they're doing the like museum reveal, there's this one guy that's holding a baby and he tells somebody to like, can you move? Like, I can't see. And that guy comes back at the end where we see Metro Man. First of all, I love that they didn't bring back Metro Man. I like that it was a fake out and he never came because he stick to what he wanted. But he did show up at their celebratory like thing at City Hall, and he was like disguised, and he was standing in front of that guy. So I'm like laughing talking about it, but he was standing in front of the guy blocking his view, and the guy's like, "Hey, can you move?" And I don't know what he says to him. Do you remember what he says?
No, I don't remember exactly. He's like, "I'm sorry, citizen," or something like that.
Yeah, I think he says that. He looks at him, he says that. He turns around and he doesn't move.
And the guy's just there.
He just like looks like trying to look ahead. Oh, that made me laugh a lot. One thing I didn't like is I didn't like the dancing. That felt weird.
The
like the Dougie and like
Michael Jackson band.
Yeah.
Really bad.
Happy ending. I have a couple of fun facts, but we can.
I have 2 things.
Yes.
Actually, one of them, right? I'll give you right now. The other I'll save towards the end. One, I just realized this now. Titan's outfit. Actually, yeah, there's 3 things. Titan's outfit reminds me of Will Ferrell's outfit in Blades of Glory. I wonder if there's any coincidence.
I didn't see any fun fact about that, but it did look exactly like it.
Yeah, it looks like pretty much exactly like it. Another thing I talked about, something that bothered me with Hal, because they cut like everyone's dancing, like everything's happy. They cut to him in jail and he's dancing, and you might have to go back for this one, but his legs look so weird.
Yeah, no, I know exactly.
His legs
what you're
are so
about.
like, it looks like his calves or his shins are curved inwards, but like way more. It just bothers me the way he's dancing too. But
you should make that video and be like, I feel like the caption for that would say like my sleep paralysis demon when I play music at night or something like that. When I sleep to music, because it is pretty disturbing. All right, so I have a couple of fun facts. I actually what's the word? Categorize them. So the film's plot was based, and I guess you can kind of know this without like looking it up, but it was based on what if Lex Luthor defeated Superman, and they're pretty similar. So like the correlation is pretty obvious. But a couple of things about that. So there are numerous references to Superman in this film. The way Megamind's parents put him in a capsule to Earth just before the planet is destroyed, like they did in Superman. The love interest is a reporter. Hal's space dad is modeled after Marlon Brando, which also The Voice. I don't know if you've realized from The Voice. As Superman's father in one of the film versions. Almost all of Metro Man's superpowers are the same as Superman's. Megamind's pronunciation of Metro City was the same stress pattern as Metropolis. So like Metrocity, Metropolis. In Superman, Megamind takes on a bespectacled secret identity similar to Clark Kent. In the Metro Man Museum, there's a statue of Metro Man preparing to catch an airplane. This is a reference to John Byrne's Superman comics, where Superman made his first appearance by catching a plane and saving Lois Lane. Oh, and the next thing, this one is for you, Anthony. I put this specifically in there for you, but Hal, the cameraman, is seen wearing a yellow sad face badge. This is a tribute to the Alan Moore comic Watchmen, where the comedian wore a yellow smiley face badge. Since the comedian was an unbalanced vigilante, this foreshadows Hal's instability and corruption.
It's beautiful.
And I have a couple of fun facts that I labeled what the fuck. So Guillermo del Toro was hired as a creative consultant 3 weeks before the film completed production. He majorly assisted in editing the film to make it more exciting.
That's so funny. And I just like imagining him just like looking at this film. I don't know, just funny.
He seems like just such a fun person though. Like even though his films are kind of like, a lot of them are really scary or like dark, but every time he talks, like just the way he looks, he just like is such an exciting person that he's an obvious choice to like punch up your film. All right. And then the Massachusetts Branch Showcase Cinema accidentally showed Saw the Final Chapter instead of Megamind at the time of Megamind's release, frightening young audiences.
I don't get how that happens. And also, I wonder how long that went. If it was like the entire movie.
And those movies, like the Saw movies, I don't know if I've seen the Final Chapter, but those just start. Like they just have like, I think they just show somebody in one of the puzzles or whatever you call it. Metro Man's song at the beginning was written by Justin Theroux, which I don't know what he's well known for. I know he's in a lot of stuff.
He's in Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. He was in The Leftovers, famously Jennifer Aniston's ex. Oh, so is Brad Pitt. Interesting. But yeah, so he wrote it. He's also, I didn't realize, but he writes a lot of stuff. I think I don't know if I want to say he wrote Zoolander, but he had a hand in it maybe. I don't know. Somebody can correct me. All right, so this one is very funny to me. We're out of the what the fuck. Maybe this can be added to it, but this was originally pitched as a live action film, which in my opinion,
I'd love to see that.
So bad. That would have been so bad.
It would have been, but I would have loved to have seen it.
I'd love to see it.
Maybe I'll make it.
Oh, please don't. All right. Who would you play and who would I play? I want to be Minion.
Would definitely. That's a good one. Sadly, I'd probably be Hal because I have the hair, but
or Bernard.
I could be Bernard.
You got that computer voice.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So a couple of things about making of. Instead of voicing his character from within a sound booth, Brad Pitt, who is a very active actor, insisted on using a handheld microphone for his performance and roamed around the studio. That feels very Metro Man. He's like, I know you have done animated films for years and you're spending a lot of money on this, but like, give me a mic and I'm going to fucking walk around, okay?
I just don't want to be confined to one space. I want to act where I want to act, you know?
You know, an actor should never have limits. And as an actor...
and right now you're limiting me.
I like to think that the first day she showed up and they're like, okay, so this is your booth. And he saw it and he was like, I can't. And he just left.
Yeah, this ain't gonna work.
And then one of his aides was like, so Brad doesn't like to be limited.
You really upset Brad.
And... Brad is very offended. I have no evidence that he's a diva. I don't know why.
And like, why is the assistant whispering? Yeah, Brad asks you to let him use an external mic that you can use, please.
Brad would like to. Brad would like to move around, but he wants an assistant or an intern, anybody you have, to actually hold the mic for him and follow him. Also, if you have a spotlight, that would be great.
That's funny.
I love this character. Brad
Diva
Pitt's
Brad
assistant.
Pitt. Plus quiet assistant.
Because he's in the room still.
Oh yeah, he's just like pacing.
Kind of like
Brad would like some herbal tea.
Brad doesn't like the name Metro Man. Can we change
it? That's so funny.
All right. I lost my place now. Oh, to promote the film, Will Ferrell assembled 1,580 of his friends and their acquaintances at a superhero costume function. This party set a Guinness World Record for the largest gathering of superheroes.
Why?
I don't know. He was proud. Okay. It didn't do anything though, Will. This movie is the lowest grossing DreamWorks film. God damn it.
I don't think you care.
No, he doesn't. All right. So a fun fact that ties in Monsters vs. Aliens. So both of these films have many similarities. First, they are parodies of other pop culture icons. Monsters vs. Aliens is inspired by the monsters from the 50s and 60s, while Megamind is inspired by superheroes and villains like Superman, Batman, Lex Luthor. Second, they talk about empowerment. So Susan, aka Ginormica, feels proud. Was that actually her name?
Yeah.
Sorry, I totally forgot that. That kind of shook me. She feels proud to be a monster, while Megamind accepts his role as a hero at the end. Third, they both have aliens. IMDb is putting in that work for us. Yeah. That's it. The fourth one is that they both grossed over 300 million in the worldwide box office.
You know, I was going to say that's funny. I didn't read this fun fact, but this movie bears striking resemblance to The Dark Knight. Now let me just throw that accusation out there and let me bring it back. It
does feel like an accusation and a heavy one.
So, in The Dark Knight, spoiler, the White Knight,
The Dark Knight movie?
Of that movie.
Oh, okay.
The Dark Knight movie.
Yeah.
Of that movie, what's his name?
Joker.
No.
Harvey.
Two-Face. Harvey Dent, the White Knight, becomes the Dark Knight. He becomes a bad person. Joker turns him, Gotham's only White Knight, into a bad person. But Megamind takes that and flips it. It's like almost like a call and response. I looked it up right now. Dark Knight came out in 2008. Or wait, which one came out first? Megamind came out.
Am I crazy or did I read that it came out in 2018?
Megamind?
I saw something that said 2018 and I was like, that cannot be right.
No, Megamind came out in 2010.
Did it really?
Dark Knight came... Yeah.
Oh, okay. That feels more right. I was like, there's no fucking way.
No, and Dark Knight came out at 2008. So Megamind is honestly probably it's like a call and response. And Megamind is a response because in The Dark Knight, Harvey Dent becomes the bad person. He becomes the villain. Ultimately dies, but whatever. And in Megamind, the response to The Dark Knight, the villain, The Dark Knight, Megamind, becomes the White Knight. And in this paper, I will...
I can hear Christopher Nolan writing the cease and desist right now. How dare you?
He's like, how the fuck did you know I was going to write that movie?
He's the ghostwriter for Megamind. I mean, what, the guy's name is Schoolcraft, one of the writers? That's not a real fucking name. Alan Schoolcraft? No. Christopher Nolan. Jesus Christ. All right. And so the last one, I want to leave on a good note. Like we said, I want to appreciate the animators of this movie. I know I talk a lot of shit. I just don't, it's not bad animation. It just freaks me out. But they did a great job. So oh God, this has numbers. Do you want to read this one?
1,317 man weeks were used for the Megamind CFX, which works out to 25 years of work if one person was doing it, or the equivalent of that is 6,585 work days, which is ridiculous. Ridiculously awesome that many people were able to do that. And honestly, it holds up. Like, this movie could have came out in 2018 and you wouldn't bat an eye because it looks that good. So mad props to the team there. You may have grossed the least amount of money that a DreamWorks animated movie has ever made. The most in my heart, honestly. I love this movie.
I liked it.
It's such a fun... That's good. I'm glad.
I had a good time watching it.
I'm glad it made you think. You know, it was like, oh, he's alive. Oh, that's not really him.
Yeah, so. And especially like a lot of the stuff I've been watching, it's like YouTube videos, and like those are exciting, but I like to rewatch stuff, so I don't engage with it a lot. But yeah, this one really, really kept me thinking.
Megamind.
One of a kind. I'm so sorry I said that. All right, any final thoughts? Are you ready for my pick?
I'm ready, but before that, really fast. There, if you guys want, there's a short that happens
yeah.
It's like, I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
I watched it before we recorded. It's like shortly after the events that took place in this movie. It honestly seems like an introduction to a video game. Which I feel like they missed out on that, but it's called like Megamind, the Button of Doom. It's pretty dumb, but
I know.
Now I'm ready for your pick.
I saw it on IMDb. They said it's the closest you'll get to a sequel.
Yeah.
It's probably Brad Pitt's fault. Brad Pitt would not like to be.
Brad Pitt would rather Metro Man die.
Do you still have Bruce Campbell's number? Because Brad is not going to do another one. All right, let's do the next one. All right, so I'm going to bring the mood way down. And we're going to talk about a movie. I don't know if it's good or not. I haven't heard anything really about it, but it has a really interesting and really interesting, but also a real thing that happens that I would like to dive into and talk about. So it's a movie called Run on Hulu with Sarah Paulson. You might have seen like a trailer or something. I'll give a little synopsis. So it's about Chloe, a teenager who is confined to a wheelchair, and she's homeschooled by her mother, Diane. But Chloe soon becomes suspicious of her mother and begins to suspect that she may be harboring a dark secret. I don't know if
I've seen the trailer. I don't think I've like paid attention to it, but I've seen it. I probably skipped it on YouTube or somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You probably have seen like an ad or something. But the thing that really made me want to watch it is, I don't know if this is a spoiler. I think it's pretty much in the trailer. But I also was reminded that it was coming out when I saw a TikTok of a girl. So this movie is about Munchausen's by proxy. Like it's kind of centered around it. And it's I won't get into it now. Like if you want to look it up, fine. But I am going to talk about it next time. But it was a girl talking about how she wanted to watch the movie and react to it and tell people her reaction because she was a victim of Munchausen's by proxy. But yeah, it just looks interesting. I haven't heard anything about it other than like what it could be about. And it's a thriller. I don't know. I don't think it's a horror, but it's a thriller. Mystery, thriller, and horror. Oh yeah, so I guess it is a horror, but yeah. I had options for this, and one of them was supposed to be like one of the worst movies of the year, and then another one was another horror, which I might do later. I don't know. I don't want people to think that I'm just like sad and like dark all the time, but I'm excited. I think it'll be a good conversation.
You're sad, and I'm a literal child.
Let's watch Megamind.
Man. Well, happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Oh,
this is going to come out on Thanksgiving.
It's a good family movie for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's about a family, I'm sure. So, oh, you're talking about Megamind?
Yeah.
I was talking about the next one.
Oh, the next one, no.
Yeah, Megamind is
no.
Megamind is about the creation of a family.
Oh God. Okay.
All right. Follow us.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Everywhere on Instagram at Brother Sister Show and Twitter at Bro Sis Show. In the bios of both of those accounts, you'll find a link tree. So just go check out everything. Yeah. Let other people know. Leave us reviews. I don't think we have any new one.
Just mine.
Besides the atrocity that you left.
Yeah, and you can also let us know. I don't know if people have, but I think we're always, now that we're not doing, I think the only month that we weren't really taking any suggestions was Spooky October. But now that we're out of it, if you have a movie that you want to watch as a family, as a club, then you can just let us know and we'll pick it. I mean, the only rule is that it has to be on a streaming service.
Yeah, that's the only rule.
And it doesn't have to be bad or good. It just has to be a movie. On a streaming service.
It does have to be a movie. Yep. I mean, we watched Noelle on this.
Yeah, and I wonder who picked that.
I don't remember.
It was you.
Oh.
That would be me.
I don't know. It just seems like something you'd pick. Something dumb.
What? I pick really sad stuff. All right.
Noelle is sad.
It made me sad.
All right, Brad Pitt would like to end this episode.
He needs to use the studio and he needs the entire space. So if you could wrap this up, thank you. She just disappears into the back, like your dark dungeon. Bye.
Bye.